Maybe you've heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls. What are they? Why do they matter? Have you heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls? Well, in case you haven't, you need to listen up. The Dead Sea Scrolls discovery was one of the most significant, if not the most significant, archaeological find of the 20th century. Now, there's a lot of archaeological finds that confirm many of the stories and events in the Bible, and it matters because it gets to the heart of the question, can we trust the Bible as we have today? Are there mistakes? Has it been changed? The Dead Sea Scrolls help us to answer the question of why we can trust the Bible. The discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls took place in early 1947. Three Bedouin shepherds, boys who were really cousins, were exploring in the mountainous area northwest of the Dead Sea. And one threw a rock inside this cave and they heard pottery shatter. So they decided they were going to come back the next day and explore it. Well, one of the cousins got up early by himself, and he's actually been called the Wolf, went up there early, climbed over, went down inside and found a jar that had been shattered, and inside it were a bunch of scrolls. He was disappointed to come across a few ancient scrolls. He had no idea that these scrolls would be worth millions of dollars and turn the archaeological and biblical world upside down. Since the initial discovery of the Dead Sea Scrolls, archaeologists have gone back and found at least 11 caves full of over 1,000 different manuscripts or scrolls or portions of ancient writings. Basically, what they found is an ancient library. They found books and writings that gave us a glimpse into the first century and earlier that we never had before. So these writings were done between about 250 BC, before the time of Christ, and 68 AD, before the Romans came in and destroyed the area of Jerusalem. And in these writings, many of them are just personal writings for the community, but 300 of the writings that they found were of biblical books. Every biblical book in the Old Testament except Esther, they found either a full or in most cases a partial copy of it. Of the biblical books that they found, the most significant find by far is called the Great Isaiah Scroll. And this is in Cave 1. I've actually been there. I've actually climbed up the mountain, went into the cave, and seen with my own eyes the place where they found this scroll. And the reason it's important is this scroll dates to about 125 BC. That's about a century and a quarter before the time Jesus was born. Well, before this time, the earliest copy we had of Isaiah in its completion was 1008 AD. That means in one find, they just spanned over 1,100 years. So of course their first question was, wait a minute, we had this manuscript from before Christ, we have one 1,000 years after that our Bibles have been based on. How do these two manuscripts match up? Has it been changed over this 1,100 plus years, or is it the same? And do you know what they found? They were virtually identical. Now there were a few minor spelling grammatical mistakes because they had been copying this by hand for over a millennia, but the content was virtually identical, which shows the care and precision these Jewish scholars paid to copying the Word of God. And this gives us tremendous confidence that when we hold the Bible in our hand, in particular the Old Testament, we can realize that these scholars weren't freely changing things. They weren't carelessly just adapting things. The Jewish scribes who've copied the Old Testament by hand paid incredible precision and care to be sure that the Bible has been copied accurately. The Dead Sea Scrolls are one reason among many that we can trust the Old Testament. The documents in our hands have not been changed.